Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your hosts MB and K Lou. And MB is missing, but you got double A in the building. What's going on?
Peace. Happy
Well,
Monday.
MB having a few technical difficulties. He's gonna jump, slide, creep on in when he gets that under control. But right now, we're playing basketball. Well, look, um, man. Let's get right at it. The biggest upset that's occurred in basketball this year has been the Dallas Mavericks over the Phoenix Suns. And I have to, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm attacking the Phoenix Suns. Please don't give me nothing from nobody to my Devin Booker is a superstar. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, Cletus. Cletus, I don't want to hear it.
He's on a milk carton.
Listen, not only him, but I don't want to hear about no DeAndre Ayton. Save that. And Phoenix is going to pay him the max, and they're a fool. Like, you know why he getting paid the max double A? He getting paid the max because they swept us last year in the playoffs. And that's still somehow reverberated throughout the season, made everybody still think he was a player like that, of that caliber. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying the guy can't play. Please don't ever put me in there. Everybody in the NBA can play. Everybody, okay, whether they the 16th, 15th man or the number one option, they can play. But I'm saying compared to each other. When I'm making my comparisons, it's compared to each other. He was on a milk carton too, 5-4.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? Y'all were telling me he was the next best. 5-4, and then Devin Booker 3 or 14. To me, you went out soft. You didn't even shoot enough. You should have went 3 for 35.
Was that more disappointing or more surprising than James Harden taking 2 shots in the second half?
Well, let's face it.
He's done.
James Harden is, that's a whole nother story. I think
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sidetrack.
That's what got. So that hurt. That hurt.
I'm sorry, Caleb.
You just but I think it's more mental right now in James' world than actually physical. I think he's one of those players that needs to feel like wanted, loved, all that kind of stuff. Like, and then he can play his way. I think Philly is the wrong place for that, especially when you got such an outspoken leader like Joel Embiid, which I don't understand why he's so outspoken, because he don't dominate the defense like he dominates the offense. So I got a problem with him too. But he's super outspoken. That's not going to go over well with James. He already called him out. So it wouldn't shock me as James trying to get missing again and end up somewhere else when we get started again. But stand on the Phoenix Suns, man. That's a travesty. You see what I put in there? Luka is the only superstar left in the playoffs. No. Let's face it, y'all. This is what superstars do. They take their team, an underdog, a team that should have no chance, and they win it. Yeah. That's what a superstar does. Down 3-1, LeBron James. That no chance with no team and win it. Let's face it, that's what time Luka on right now. Luka is on superstar time. I don't see any others. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. You go over to the East. I'm sorry, Jason Tatum. That wasn't enough out of you in a game 7. It just wasn't. Okay. The defensive specialists won y'all the game, and everybody admits it. And shoot, the other role guy, Pritchard, was knocking down threes and put the dagger in it as well. So I need way more out of you, Jason Tatum, not a superstar. And then you look, and Jimmy is Jimmy, okay? He's hard-nosed, he's a baller, he gritty, he grimy, but he's not a superstar. Reason being, the only reason Jimmy's not a superstar because he won't just say the heck with defense. That's really the only reason. Because he still says, I'm going to go hard, if not harder, on the other end that y'all offensive guys go on the offensive end is holding him back because we'll have a game where Jimmy goes for 35 and in the next game he might go for 12. But his man ain't gonna do nothing.
Exactly.
And so that's the only thing holding him back. I'm sorry. It's just he's not gonna output offensively every night, which is sadly, I'm gonna go ahead and foretell the future why I don't see y'all winning it, because you gonna need games out of him like a 30 plus night in and night out to actually have a chance to beat Boston.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was my take too.
Speaking of being on a milk carton, where's this guy been?
Now I remember you.
Let me raise my seat up. You guys sit a little taller than me. Yeah, let me get a little level up here.
But yeah, so what did you think about the Phoenix? And this is double A. Double A ain't talked about it yet.
So I ain't never seen a team quit that quick, that fast.
Golly.
In a game 7, and I've been watching ball since 1980. So that's 42 years. I ain't never seen that before.
And why are we even having people mention Chris Paul's name at all when you got two young superstars on his team? Like, he's supposed to fill in the gaps when they don't, but sadly he's had to carry them a whole lot.
So they cruised the regular season and they wound up in first place, and then they found up when the real season started, everyone had the book on them because New Orleans, even playing without Zion, put them to the brink, and Dallas, they went in, game 7 and that they should never got up. They when they went home and slept in their own beds, they got too comfortable. So I don't know. Ayton is a big surprise to me because I thought last year, I honestly thought that's a superstar on the rise. I thought, wow, the Bahamians, they got something coming. Mm-hmm. And man, did he mail it in. And I don't know if you saw Monty Williams post game, but they asked him a question about Ayton. He goes, is there a reason Ayton sat the 4th? He goes, that's internal. So he's got a problem with him. So, because Monty don't say anything bad about anybody. So I listen, you got to turn it around. Give Jason Kidd props. Not only do you not hear from Mark Cuban, but he got them playing D when they had him mic'd up and you heard him calling out on the sideline where to go with the ball and who to cover. He's like he's a 6th man out there on the sidelines. So
and let's remember the last series, he was calling his guys out saying Luka can't be the only one to show up every day. Yeah. Like we missed that. Like coaches calling out guys, personally in the media to their face. Like he let it be known. Like we can be good, but we need more than Luka.
so not only did they replace Rick Carlisle with Jason Kidd, but to get Porzingis out of there, who I've never understood the fascination with him. Especially with Porzingis, they got to get I never say his name right. DeWitty from Washington.
Oh, Dinwiddie.
He went off in these playoffs, let alone last night. I mean, and you got Tim Hardaway Jr. who can stroke it sitting on the bench, hurt.
Right.
So listen, I thought, I'll be surprised. Golden State, they're going to have this team. They're playing with house money right now.
Well, you say they on our text that they did Coach of the Year too soon. Yeah, because it should be Jason Kidd.
Absolutely, 100%. And MVP should be Luka.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was. We never talked about that, but that was a joke.
No, boom, boom.
Joker being MVP.
Yeah.
Jason, so I know you just look at the scores from time to time. So what's been anything you thought about the playoffs thus far? Knowing that, has LeBron being gone just killed it for you?
I mean, I was gonna say it seems to have taken a lot of the media coverage out of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't seem to bleed into outside of ESPN, I mean, where is it? I mean, even the daily sports stuff, even the YouTube one. I mean, it just there's no big headlines. There's no big grabbers. I mean, and it sucks. I don't even like LeBron. I don't even like LeBron. But like you don't have to like a guy for him to generate, headlines. So it just seems non-existent.
It's funny because it might not have made it out over the mainstream press as far as people who don't watch it, but I guarantee you between TNT and ESPN's ratings, they're at record levels this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Curry. I like the Warriors, so I'm happy for them. I'm probably rooting for a Miami Golden State finals, but is anybody really going to care if it's not? And no offense, AA, I don't mean it like that. I know Miami. I don't want Embiid, blowing up my house, but it just seems like to your point about the ratings, it's going to do those ratings whether it's Miami Golden State or Boston Dallas. Am I way off base there, or is it just seems like it's just another year of? I mean, in the other years when there wasn't LeBron, you had Kobe back then, and then you had the dream teams that Steph had, which means people loved or hated them. It seems like the shines wore off the guy out of Milwaukee, Giannis. Where's the stars anymore?
This guy Luka is got it. I mean, but he's a European star, so you got to remember that it might not be big here, but right now over on the other coast, this is big.
And Luka being the only superstar left is why I definitely want him to be in the big game, because the NBA is a game of superstars. And I'm sorry, y'all, Steph, Draymond, the only one that may be a superstar is Clay, because we haven't seen him play by himself yet. But we saw what Steph did with the team by himself, nothing. We saw what Draymond did with the team by himself, nothing. So you guys can miss me with that Steph superstar stuff, because unless he has his sidekicks with him, Batman, heck, we didn't know who Robin was until what Batman part what, but these guys without their Robins, they're nobodies.
And I'd say the best player on that Golden State team right now is Poole. As far as that's who I enjoy watching more than anybody.
I mean, he adds that element of one more guy that you got to pay attention to, which makes them who they are. When before, like we actually really thought they could be as good individually. We just haven't seen that when they were forced, when their foot was held to the fire.
I mean, so Clay, how's Clay done with that ACL? Like that this is his first year back, right?
Yeah. He's been terrific. He's lived up.
He's gonna get pushed this round, having to take some minutes on Luka. You're gonna see what that leg is like, because he hasn't really had to play the defensive minutes yet that I'm expecting him to.
I doubt they're gonna do that though. I think they feel like they can go toe to toe and outscore Dallas. I think that's a mistake, because just like the other night, last night Luka had 27 and so did
the whole team.
Yeah. And so
Spencer.
Phoenix, yeah. So that he's showing that, listen, man, anything y'all can do, I can do better.
What wasn't he traded to get that loud kid, that kid that's pretty funny out of Atlanta? Trae Young?
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, it looked like they lost that trade at first, but I mean now.
No, it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
Trae has been. You remember Trae was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So I mean, Luka gets into the Western Conference Finals this year. Yeah. So it's not. I mean, would Luka had the same success there with the team that they had? I mean, that's when you start like, I don't know.
I will say, of course, I knew that he was from Slovenia or somewhere in the Eastern European. But so I mean, I knew he was a white guy, but I didn't know how Caucasian this man was until you start watching the highlights, and it's like, did an Enterprise rental car manager jump out on the court? Like, is it like you could go to any YMCA anywhere, and there he is. Like, so it makes me feel great to see him have success. When he comes out for warm-ups, it's like, oh, fans snuck in. They're gonna get him. They're gonna get him.
He's one border over from fighting in Ukraine right now.
Right.
That's the mentality you're dealing with on the court. He's cold blooded. Oh, we all are, but that's I mean, he literally.
He's got that. He's got. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's got that Larry Bird flow. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really the herky jerky. Like it's something to watch. I mean, he must have been playing at a really young age.
I think the only knock I have against Luka is that, and when we talked about this, maybe last season, or beginning of this one, it's why isn't anybody excited about teaming up with him? That's my one little knock against him. Like, because even if he makes a run, they don't win it, then what? Which is the problem that will shift over to Milwaukee. Milwaukee won it, did nothing. Look what the situation arose this year. Like, you gotta continue to improve. You gotta continue to get better, or you won't make it.
That's the perfect point. Coming back to Phoenix, they added that team that went on that run. They added nothing to it, and then look at Milwaukee.
Yeah,
they traded their heart and soul. Not traded. They didn't even re-sign their heart and soul. It was PJ Tucker. The best thing that Miami got swept by Milwaukee last year, because the year before when we beat them, we had Jay Crowder. So when we got PJ Tucker this year, that was a loss for them and a plus for us.
And remember, PJ Tucker, because I remember arguing with Chuck when he kept saying Milwaukee had no chance. They had no chance. And I said, well, then they need to dirty the game up. And he said, well, they don't have nobody to do that. I was like, PJ Tucker. Like, he will dirty it up. He will get it scrappy. He will make it way more physical, because they can't play basketball with them head up. And look what happened. They did it with Phoenix. They made it scrappy. They made it ugly, and they ended up hoisting the trophy.
That's why I think Miami. I've watched them play. I watched them play Boston this year. I've watched them play Dallas. They will take whoever the number one guy is, and they will give them the treatment. Anyone else can beat them. And I know it ain't Tatum beating Miami.
Well, and so let's get right into it. Like, I like Boston, but if you guys remember, I mentioned that whoever won the Boston Brooklyn series was gonna beat Milwaukee. And I said it because Milwaukee, to me, did not play well in their first round for them. Like, it was atrocious. And I said, we just saw a team that had no business on the court with them lock them up. And I think that's the easy thing to do for both Brooklyn and who are we playing? Oh,
Miami.
And Miami. So I was just like, it's no way. No, Boston. It was Boston. Boston could beat them, and Brooklyn, could beat them in that series, saying Milwaukee. I thought whoever won that series was going to beat them either way. And that's what happened. And they took it to a game 7, really, because Boston blew game 6. So it was like, should have been over in 6.
They were whining about, I think, game 3, they felt like they were robbed by the refs, if I remember right. Early in that series. That was a 1-point swing or something. But, I mean, to me, Milwaukee was over the day they lost Middleton. Once he didn't have that to go to, I mean, Drew Holiday is great, but he ain't your number 2 as far on the offense end.
Right. Well, yeah, and you can cry and argue about that, but, hey, the Golden State Warriors was fortunate that John Morant got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just all part of the game, especially from a football perspective.
Yeah.
We expect injuries. We don't like.
You don't hear me whining that we lost Lowry. I was going
Right.
crazy last week when I felt like Spoelstra forced him in there, and I was like, you guys were winning with Vincent. You don't need him. You know, well, let him rest, save him.
Right.
You know.
Well, moving right to it though. Like I like Boston against Miami. I think the two superstars or lack thereof, the people who give Jalen and Jason Tatum that superstar role, like they do enough offensively and defensively, and just Tatum is such a problem at 6'10", man. And you saw Giannis struggle with him. Like Giannis struggled with him, and he's a defensive force. And Jason take him out there, cross him over, and fade or shoot the three ball. He can't do anything with it because they standing eye to eye.
He's going to get the Pat Riley treatment. It's going to be Bam. It's going to be Tucker. It's going to be Butler. He ain't going to be happy. Sorry.
But they can equal the toughness having both Williams and Smart.
No doubt.
There. And then at the same time, you got, they're not afraid of anybody on your team offensively. That's the advantage that they have. Like, no one can go out there and just straight beat them. So all the games, it's gonna be old school basketball. I like the series because it's gonna be rock'em sock'em. I think it's gonna be super physical. I think
90s. It's the 90s NBA. It's
yeah. Maybe you're not dropping it down into the post, but everybody's trying to work their way into the lane. I'll say it like that. And then you got Al Horford. Remember that may break the bank if they go all the way. So he's playing some inspired basketball.
I know I'm old because I remember watching his father Tito play as a freshman.
Really?
Yeah, at Miami.
Wow.
1985 or 84. Mike probably remembers when he was in high school. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I like them on the West. We now got Dallas and Golden State. I like Golden State. I mean, I just think, just going out there playing one-handed basketball just ain't gonna get it done. Unless Spencer Dinwiddie can play lights out for the entire series, then it gives them a chance. But like you said, the Warriors are just too deep, and the added depth and the added play by role guys have, I think that just puts it out of reach.
Well, you know what the NBA wants? They want long series. So
I don't know about that. It'll be interesting. Maybe I'll say they cheating too if they do that. Jason, so Deshaun back, baby. Deshaun taking his guys to
the Bahamas.
Sizzler.
What are they gonna do to him? You know what I mean? I mean, if we're being honest, it almost feels like that little news story was, hey, look, he's doing something. Are y'all going to get him yet? Like, you know what I mean? It definitely had that little tinge to it because so many quarterbacks do that. I mean, you remember the Cabo trip, that's where the Rams went and got Stafford. Wasn't he there doing something with somebody? I think was the original plan or the comment was he goes there often to work with teammates. So players go to Florida, players go wherever. But Deshaun goes to the Bahamas. Oh wow, So I think I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't think they're going to be able to suspend him any games. I know a lot of people are expecting like a 3 to 4 games, but I don't think they're going to get him at all.
Well, let's remember, like Big Ben didn't get charged criminally. He got suspended. Pac-Man Jones never got charged criminally. He got suspended. They've made like a point, or they have a history. The NFL has a history of just because you weren't charged criminally doesn't mean we won't still and can't suspend you. Now, I'm with you. I don't think it should be done, but I also didn't think those guys should have got suspended.
Well, I think those guys had more of a presumption of guilt And you know what I mean. I think they
I
were
get it.
court of public opinion.
There's
You don't think 22 do the same thing?
there's a different factor now in that before you had the commissioner ruling on this. I saw today with the collective of the new bargaining agreement. There's a committee now, right? Now I don't know who makes up that committee, but
probably Roger Goodell. They clone them.
Yeah,
Split them, and then he's surrounding the table.
But it that might change, how this goes for better for him, or they might be trying to, hey, we'll show we're not just here to,
It just seems like from all angles of this, nobody really condemned Deshaun Watson. If you really look at it from the beginning, every except for the extortionist, victims. It seemed like they were the only ones, right? I mean,
Well,
every media personality.
You're gonna get different groups that follow him around all year now, because like I told you guys, I had no idea what was going on the last Pro Bowl they had here in Orlando. I was going up there and I'm seeing people surrounding both sides of like a gate. And I'm like, man, they really are doing a great job with the Pro Bowl. And I'm thinking the players must gonna get off the bus and walk through. No, when I get up there, it's Peter. We hate Vic. I was like, is Vic? When the last time Vic played? Like
10 years ago, 20 years ago.
and Vic, I think, was there, as a guest of some kind. And so they followed him here just to tell him how much they still hated him. So you're going to have that kind of following with Deshaun Watson is all I'm telling you. Get ready for.
I don't think it'll be as intense. I mean,
really?
It just seemed like the coverage of it, and I swear I'm not even doing it from the Clemson part. Literally, just the coverage of it. Name one media personality who everybody seemed to approach the subject as if it was bogus. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, how many? Shannon Sharp, he went on there was saying pretty openly that it was a little suspect, a couple of the stories. And it just seemed like he's the one that got the least amount of condemnation publicly, to the point that it just didn't seem, where was the outrage over his signing?
Right.
So I think maybe 2 games, and I think then it'll be just kind of like so that there's no response to the nothing, to doing nothing. But I don't think
how can it be 2 games? He already sat out a whole year while he was on an active roster.
Right.
The player union ain't going to go for that. I would say he did his time, whatever it, even if it's just.
Well, he didn't really do his time though. I really felt like, and I felt like that was the travesty about it all. Like, I felt like they should have went ahead and did what they had to do the year he set out.
Right.
And that was, to me, unfair, because it was almost like, oh, we're not worried about it because y'all ain't playing them. That's not the point. You should, whatever you're going to do, they should have had to do already.
Right.
And then that way, if he had to miss the whole season, who cares? He wasn't going to play anyway. But now it's like one of those situations where it looks like they want to hurt him. You know? Because Jason, I'm sorry, he's going to at least get 6 games. I'm just throwing that out there. At least. Now, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right. But these games should have been served last year, is my point.
Because at the moment, it's almost like the team paid the price. But no, the team paid the price for not wanting to trade him like he wanted, because that situation predated this. Correct. He was like, I'm not playing for Houston anymore before this stuff came out.
Right.
So,
which was kind of fishy. And I remember Pat Wagon said, boy, this don't smell good. How all of a sudden, when he decided that he ain't playing there, y'all say, well, he ain't playing nowhere. That's what Pat Wagon kind of said.
And that lawyer being a huge Texans fan.
Don't mess with Texas, ain't that what they say?
Well, unless you want 200-something million guaranteed, but but I guess the Texans go to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that lawyer is a fan of how much they suing 22 times. For how much he looks to get paid if he wins a lawsuit. But
Did they
Looks
settle?
like Deshaun's gonna fight that, tooth and nail when that happens.
I think I just don't see it. I mean, 2 games, if anything. That's gonna be my vote. But
That's what I think.
You think 2 games?
2 to 4.
Mhm.
I don't think it's 6.
22 women.
yeah, it's just
Like,
one
I
or
just think
2,
that's
and
hard.
then a group thread. If we're
Because
being honest, like
because
it's
and see, here's the ignorance of the NFL. It's like they look at it as if we got to do something, or else we're gonna get raked over the coals. Well, 2 games ain't gonna look like you did anything, and 6 games they're still gonna complain. There's really no satisfaction that people will give unless you banish him for life. That ain't happening. But the possibility of him even serving 1 game to me is just completely unfair, knowing that he sat out an entire year already.
So the way I look at it, Fox don't care. The only people that's going to care is paying the bills is ESPN, Disney. That they're going to have an issue with it.
yeah. I mean, if we look at the schedule, that's when some additional opinions are going to come into the. Let's see here. I know that big opener of Russell and Denver. But I don't think Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's got a big game, do they? They open against the Panthers. That's awesome. Hey, I hope he suspended a game. And then Jets, Steelers, Browns. Yeah, they ain't really like. I guess a marquee game, like the big division test, maybe.
What kind of schedule did they give them? That's a telling sign.
Yeah, I mean they got the Steelers week 3. Then they got Falcons, Chargers, Patriots. They got the Ravens, Bengals. They don't really get into anything crazy until Ravens are week 6, and then Bengals 7. So
they give them a Sunday night. They give them a Monday night game.
It doesn't say. No, these are all Sundays at 1.
Yeah,
they got a 8:15 on the 20. The Steelers. That's week 3. That's Monday night, right? Or is that a Thursday? What time?
Thursday or Monday night game.
That's their only. Nope. The week 7 is Halloween night against. So hey, it won't be more than 6 because they ain't gonna lose their Halloween game.
There's your answer. Yeah. Coming back Halloween night.
But hey, you know what? It looks like if they get a 2-gamer, hey, you sit out Panthers and Jets. You back in prime time for the Steelers. You know what I mean? I mean, let's see. September 22nd is.
And Walt, hopefully you heard me.
Thursday.
I don't agree with it. I just think the NFL, they have to do something for the fans. And so that's my reason for saying there will be a suspension. I think both Jason and AA agree. They just don't agree that it's going to be the same time. And I think we're all on the same page for why they're doing it. Not, it's not that he did anything wrong. We're saying the same thing because, let's face it, none of these people went to the cops immediately. They went to an attorney. And then the cops are saying, we don't have anything here. So obviously whatever they put together wasn't enough for a grand jury to kind of indict. So we're past that point, but the NFL still has to make an answer to, women in general. And I think this is their way again.
I mean, I think to AA's point, so, week 3, that's a Thursday. Week 7, that's a Monday. Who's got a Thursday night games this year? Amazon?
Yeah. It's either Amazon or NFL Network, right?
Roger might have some, additional motivations on that week 3. But
who's his backup?
Baker.
Oh, it's still Baker.
Yeah.
He still hasn't been traded. Him and Jimmy G are sitting out there in limbo.
Good. Hey, I'm sure DeHaven just can't wait for Jimmy G to suit back up.
So the NCAA is back in the news. When we first started discussing this NIL thing, I said, listen, let's just face it. The teams and boosters are going to put together packages to get top guys. Period. Like end the story. Well, now the NCAA is saying you can't do that. Good luck with that, Jason. Good luck with that. It's happening already. It's gonna happen. Tennessee wasn't the landing destination for number one quarterbacks. They are now.
I think that I don't know. I think that there's going to be some pretty massive changes coming. I don't think it's. What do you think? Do you think any of this is going to stay? This whole, I mean, all of it, the entire collegiate landscape, the NIL. I mean, do you think this is sustainable?
No, let's remember, I kept saying in the beginning that 10 years ago we were talking about super conferences or longer than that. Like it was before I even came back home, so probably like 14 years ago, talking about super conferences. Well, guess what? That's getting back. People are starting to talk about that again. So saying the Power Five just breaks away, period, and say the heck with y'all, we make up our own rules. Yeah, should have been happening. Like, what's taking so long?
Yeah, you're not. They can't put this back in the bottle.
So it's not. So you're right. It's not sustainable like this.
Right.
Like with everybody else, it is sustainable when everybody's playing from the same, playing field. Like, hey, we don't care. Do you care? No. You get better. Raise some more money. Get this joker here. Like, bottom line. So schools are going to be hurt as schools outside of the Power Five. And yes, some within the Power Five too won't have the same kind of draw. But just like always, you want to get better, pay.
I think probably the only outlier to that is that kid from Boston College that turned down all that money to transfer. I mean, doesn't that violate the NIL though? I thought that wasn't supposed to entice a transfer. Am I wrong? Well, I thought when that came out, it was like you could do whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I thought there was some very specific wording in there about poaching or what was there not? Did I just miss that? Or was that discussed that maybe they would do it and then they just left it out?
I think it's one of those things that you may be right, but now prove it.
Yeah.
That's what, what I'm saying? Like,
it just sucks because we just had a Cincinnati come in and play well. We just did it, and it's like we were just getting there. Cincinnati didn't embarrass themselves in the playoffs like we thought they would. I mean, they lost handily, but they played well. Right. And so I think that's gone.
So what I was trying to figure out with all this NIL and obviously Miami's got its own craziness thing going on right now. Is this for life? Is this do you have their name, image, and likeness just for their so-called college career? Because I don't know if you ever saw that segment on the guys that sort of finance the baseball players in the minor league system. Say, hey, you have potential. I'm going to give you upfront money, not the agent, but this is a whole company. So they're giving them a couple $100,000, but against whatever their contract is when they get to the major leagues. So, it's like Tatis or someone signed like a $300 million contract. These guys, not their agent, but these guys are taking like 30% of that because they gave him $1 million when he was still playing single A or double A ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they expire. I mean, like they're actually announcing the duration of the deals, are they not? Like I
haven't seen that. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think the kid at Clemson, who's some football savant, saw coming he wouldn't play well. He only signed like a 2-year one with Dr. Pepper, I think. So it expires pretty quickly I think they're actually pretty much basing it on how long you're even going to be in college because they don't want to step on any toes of professional endorsements. It seems to be, yeah. I know that one kid, who's that one kid in Oklahoma? One of those kids in Oklahoma did sign a pretty long one. I remember there being some talk of like, he won't even be in college anymore when this thing's over. But that was way back in the beginning, and I don't know. I mean, that's probably a good thing to give a Google. Let's see.
I'm sure it has to do with state rights as well as what you can and can't do, which is probably a part of it.
Well, I think I think Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice, one of the things he talked about was it should be done by conference. Conferences should, really like give their own rules and own laws. And I think it has more to do with kind of what you were just saying, Double A, because within those conferences, they're more used to the state laws per
Right.
that their schools are playing in, because there's regulations that they have to follow per different states. So they're the perfect ones to kind of handle that. Which again gets right back to what we were talking about. Super conference. So
It's coming.
Wow. So Bryce Young has a $1 million deal with Cash App. Remember Bo Nix? He was cool for 20 minutes. He's got a deal with Milo's Sweet Tea.
Milo. Oh, okay.
Let's see. Smoothie King has some. These are in order of largest deals.
Smoothie King, that's LSU then. Somebody.
Yep, you got it. Yep.
Headquarters are in Louisiana.
Oh, really?
Would you like to know the biggest one in Miami? That would be College Humps Hauling Junk. It's a moving service. So good on them, I guess. Rivals got in on it. American Top Team. Wow, this is all
Rivals,
really
the recruiting service people.
That's what it says here. They scholarship player. They are paying all of Miami scholarship players $500 a month.
Rivals. I thought that was that restaurant.
Nah,
that was that restaurant dude did that.
Let's see. Bojangles has signed. Got in pretty big. That Kayvon in Oregon, Nike.
Wait, Bojangles should be Clemson or
North Carolina.
USC,
yeah. And then Dr. Pepper signed the
South
Clemson.
Carolina, Gamecocks.
Burger King was headquartered in Miami.
Nah.
Oh, really?
I'll be honest. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but outside of Nike with Oregon, Dr. Pepper with Clemson seems to be the biggest company on here. That's kind of weird. I really didn't think
when you say Clemson, it's with the team?
No, it was with DJ Ukulele. But none of these were with teams except for that Rivals paying. Actually, it seems like Miami's the only one for all of them.
How do you play in the spring game? Sadly, listening to your response to that, he's still your starter.
Yep. No, Kate will be. It's going to go the same way that it went with Deshaun, same way it went with Trevor. Dabo respects tenure a little too much, and he'll wait. He invests in the kid, and dude, we started Cole Stout over Deshaun Watson for like 2 weeks, so let's, Dabo's loyal to a fault, so I think he's gonna give Ukulele every chance to lose it.
Do you think that's? I mean, obviously we see what you think, but I think that could be more of a ploy to stop him from transferring. than sitting back and really like giving him.
He's a good man, Kevin. He's a good man. Kevin wants Dabo to be a villain so bad. He will find any way to put like a nefarious intention on anything the man does. He hates it.
Watch this. He makes that call during the spring, like right now or during the spring at any moment. What happens? Let's be honest. And I'm saying, like, not just Dabo, any other coach in the country. Say that to the start right now. What happens?
Didn't we let Kelly Bryant walk?
He's gone.
Like, what do you okay. So we didn't, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He invested in the kid. Everybody in the planet knows.
It's clear. Like, it was clear last year. So then I don't understand it, Jason.
No, according to me, it's clear because I saw last year. That's me though. I'm not in practice every day. So he's a good man, Kevin. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He wants what's best for those kids, man.
I'm going by you. Like, I ain't even.
Who do you open up with, and who's week 2 and who's week 3? That's how you'll know.
Clemson has not been getting cupcake openers in a while.
No. What was it, Georgia?
We do this year, though. We got Georgia Tech, and then we got Furman, and then we got Louisiana Tech.
Off of the ACC, that's odd.
I know.
Usually don't come like jump out the gate conference.
Actually, we got cake the whole way. Hold on. We got Georgia Tech, Furman, Louisiana Tech, Wake Forest,
That's an
NC
easy
State,
September.
Boston College, Florida State. We got some man. He'll figure it out when he gets around to it.
We got time.
Wow.
We'll play the Wildcat for a little while if we want to, I guess, and then just kind of go
So
for it.
when do you got Miami? In November?
Yeah, November 19th.
Okay.
We got Notre Dame. We got Notre Dame on the 5th, so we'll figure it out by Halloween.
Wow, this is a backloaded season.
Oh yeah, because we got Notre Dame, Louisville, which their quarterback's supposed to be a little something, isn't it? Florida State's still going to be awful because they don't hire Dion for some reason.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Yeah. That's like the most no-brainer thing in sports right now. That's just not constantly not happening. I don't know. Even now, okay, do you not see that even when they do it now, they're still going to get what took so long? Like they're in a lose every time.
He interviewed for 3 other jobs. The fact that those 3 others didn't hire him, what are they thinking?
They don't
Did he name one of them?
Did
he name one?
Texas? They don't want to win because he do the same thing that Penny was able to do in Memphis. Get recruits there now.
Mm-hmm. I think for them it's not a buyout of their current coach. I think it's that administrator's ego, because it won't be he didn't turn it around.
Right. Dion turned it around. Well,
who's their AD right now?
Long as he turned it around on my watch and I brought him in, that's all I care about.
Oh yeah. Their athletic director is Michael Alfred.
That's as much as my ego will go. Like, I hired him. I know I did it 3 years too late, but I hired him.
Hey, he just came in. What's he doing? He just came. They just hired a new AD 4 months ago. What's the excuse?
Oh, then wait, Jason.
Just wait.
TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok. Yeah. They'll get him.
TikTok will do an NIL deal with him.
because that's a great hire for his tenure, to begin his tenure. And he'd love for Dion to be the face of it. He can duck and dodge and hide. Let Dion answer all the questions.
So what's the next NBA game? Is there some tonight or
tomorrow night? It's Eastern Conference on Tuesday, Thursday, and then Western Conference is Wednesday, Friday.
So who y'all got, man? Who y'all think we?
So I think Golden State. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Golden State. I think I'm going with them only because Luka's by himself playing with one arm tied behind his back. Dinwiddie, even if he went off and was the number 2, it still wouldn't be enough. Jordan Poole, like you talked about early on, AA is just too much. I mean, you got Steph, you got Clay, and then you got Jordan Poole, like, who's going off. Like, it's kind of unfair for that situation.
How did they do in the regular season? I forgot to look at that.
What do you mean?
They played a couple times.
Oh, Dallas and and Golden State. And then on the East side, Jason, I'm going with Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
Does Miami have a higher? They're number 1 seed, weren't they?
Yep.
It's just, I think Boston can play gritty with them, but they also can get out and run and score. Miami just can play gritty with people. That's their issue.
Well, I'm gonna agree. Basically, I want it to be a. Well, no, I'm gonna disagree a little bit. I'd like to see Miami and Golden State.
Yeah.
But that's really just for me. It's because I feel like that's where all the stars are. Who's really who's the draw in Boston?
What do you mean, on the court or off the court?
On the court. What stars are in Boston? But I mean, it's a one-man team, though, right? I mean,
no. Actually, they probably are more offensively. They're a better team than Miami. Miami hasn't played like they did when they played us in the bubble. Like, they haven't been that explosive on offense. Their shooters haven't been that lights out game in and game out. They've been winning games the tough way, the Eric Spoelstra way. To be honest with you, he's that team is who he is and who he's been in the past. Even when he had LeBron and Dwayne Wade there, they still were gritty and tough, and as talented as they were, you were gonna get beat up by them.
I mean, well, Miami's really it's Butler and Lowry, right? I mean, I don't know really.
Ain't no Lowry ain't around. He got hamstring issues,
Right?
But they got Butler, Bam. They got this kid Hero. They've got a lot of
Robinson,
guys.
and you got the other.
Duncan don't even see he's 10th man on the bench,
and they just paid him, Jason.
Yeah, they pay him $90 million to sit on the bench now. He'll
do that in the NBA,
huh?
You can do that in the NBA. I still don't know how, but you can do that in the NBA.
Not for long.
They made a mistake because they forgot, if he wasn't making shots for you, what else is he doing?
Well, that's the thing is he made over 200 threes this year. He's done that 3 years in a row. But he's a defensive liability. So with him and Hero out there, you can't have them both out there. But they got Oladipo. Oladipo ain't back. He ain't the same. But they had this kid Caleb Martin. They had this kid Strus.
That's who's been playing well too.
Yeah, Strus, Vincent. I mean, they've got some guys that aren't names, but they're dogs. And these guys,
is Eric Spoelstra. Like even when he lost the superstar power of LeBron and Chris Bosh, and Chris Bosh got injured. He had to when all that left. They were still competitive with a bunch of guys that we didn't know who they were. Yep. They were still competitive. And then, so Dwayne Wade, was still there and winning,
Same thing happened when Mourning got sick. It was Wade and Caron Butler and they traded for Lamar Odom, mid-season. And, they were a gritty, gutsy team. So, to me, Not even because I'm a fan and I'm biased, but this Heat team is deep, and I think Jimmy got a taste of it and took LeBron to Game 6, and he did it without a Bam, and at that point he had Goran as his point guard. This guy has got a will that I ain't seen before, so I think he might want it, but I don't know if he can get by Golden State or Dallas. This guy Luka and that Golden State team that's a whole different can of worms. Boston don't scare me. I was scared of Milwaukee. I was scared of what Giannis would put us in a major foul trouble, even though he don't have the talent around him that Boston does.
You guys ever venture into any alternative sports news here? Did y'all see the Saudi Arabians making a push to challenge the PGA Tour?
Oh yeah, that's been they tried to court Jack Nicklaus forever. And he turned him down, and Greg Norman said, $100 million. I take it.
Hey,
Greg Norman's got some other issues that we ain't getting onto on this
if
game.
If Greg wouldn't have did it, I was signing up.
Phil Mickelson did it, and he got ostracized. And then it came out that Phil's got $40 million in gambling debts.
Right. So Phil had 40 million reasons to do it.
Hey, Tiger will do it for 40 porn stars and a Cadillac Escalade. He don't need the money.
Did you want to talk about this just for that?
No. Oh, but the reason why I wanted to bring it up is I don't know. I know you guys follow a lot of MMA or any of the headlines. They tried to do something similar to this about a year ago.
I used to until Anderson Silva went away.
Andrew Silverman. But because during COVID, UFC was doing fights out in Abu Dhabi, and the Saudis kept wanting to have their own little rival league. One of the biggest champions from the UFC, Khabib, started his own little Eagle FC. Little known fact, huge amount of Saudi-backed money there, and it seems like that. I think we're going to see a lot more of this. And weren't the Saudis a majority investor in the XFL? So I think it's only a matter of time before. I mean, it just seems like they're really trying to diversify away from oil, and sports seems to be the guaranteed bet right now.
Well, so I'm just interested because the problem is you're taking American sports. Like, will that sell over there? Because I think we keep proving that we like what we like and we ain't letting nothing else in. I think that's the problem over here. But if they're able to capitalize over there and get viewership and money and all that back, then unless you're saying they don't care, they're just looking to spend money and lose.
Yeah, I don't think they want any of their own viewership. I think they want ownership, and they just still want our eyes to make the money. Yeah, I think
Jason, they're washing dollars. They've
right.
been owning soccer teams in Europe for a long time now.
Right. So, see, that was actually the last thing I was going to say is with this new vacuum of Russian oligarch ownership, you think that's going to get replaced in some sports ownerships by Saudi?
It hadn't been replaced. They were doing it before the Russians.
And I say this, I think two sports, the one they're going after, PGA, and I think the other one they should go after is tennis. I think that's easier to take over, both of those, because it's a world viewership versus just one particular. And so if you can get the stars to play, people watch the stars. So we wouldn't care who what flag, if the MGA, we didn't care. Like we want to see Tiger.
The World Cup for soccer. The World Cup for soccer this year's in Qatar.
Yeah, we want
125-degree heat.
We want to see the Williams sisters. Like we don't care where they're playing or who they're playing under. Like we want that. So I think those two sports probably the easiest from an American standpoint to just snatch.
And the barrier to entry, you don't have to try to buy these enormously expensive sports teams. Mm-hmm. But again, if we're talking numbers, couple billion for an NFL team. I get what I was trying to eventually get around to.
You got to remember, the thing of it is, Jason, they won't be able to buy it themselves. You know how that is. Like they're not going to sell them. Bump the money with the group backed by them. Being majority, they're not going to sell it to them. So that's what you're going to run to if you talk about the major sports, the baseball, the football, the basketball. It's not a money thing. They'd have been owned all of the teams.
Yeah. But
so that's why I was saying starting your own league, your own PGA, starting your own USTA type of tennis type thing is much easier because people are following the purses. You know what I'm saying? And so if you can put up a big enough purse or multiple tournaments with big purses, then they're coming to play anyway. They're coming.
Do you think the NFL will eventually give up on London and we might start seeing an Abu Dhabi game? We might start seeing
I think it'd be smart because they're going to front all the money. Like everything will be paid for. And then it doesn't matter if 3 people show up to the stadium. It's going to be sold out anyway. Like,
exactly. It'll be filled.
Oh, yeah. There'll be people there at gunpoint.
They're going to pay. Oh, yeah. They're going to pay for it anyway. They're going to pay for all the tickets to sell it out anyway. It makes sense. I mean, especially, NFL has always been behind basketball. We're going to see basketball over there balling with the Emirates, because back NBA will let anybody pay for the jersey nowadays. It's like Motorola, Nike, everybody on.
It's not even the advertising or the product placement; it's the gambling now.
Right.
So the more tennis matches, the more golf matches, the more chance for people to bet because that internationally is. The numbers in the pandemic are record breaking. The gambling numbers right now.
But remember, you can't gamble. You can't gamble in the Muslim religion. You can't charge interest. You can't. So you get some Saudi dollars involved in some stuff. FanDuel.
That's officially the word.
Yeah, they can't. You see what I'm saying? But I think.
But they can't invest in it either. They can't.
Well, I think they're gonna violate that. That's a wrap. Alcohol also illegal over there. It's keep going.
What's interesting is how do they own horses then that race in the Kentucky Derby?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna figure out a way.
Oh yeah,
man. Well, we glad to get you back, Jason. Yeah. Remember me? We really don't. Double A, man. We appreciate you as usual. Man. We thank y'all for coming, stopping through, hollering at us because you know us from sideline to baseline with MBK Lou, Double A, and remember me, Jason. We'll holler and we gone.
Later. Peace.